mortgage, refinance it, and forget it. You'll never have to worry about refinancing again. Network Capital Funding is offering a low 15-year fixed rate at 1.75% with a 1.94 APR. Incredible! Network Capital has built a reputation for saving people time and money with our unique process that's fast, simple, and secure. Our 15-year fixed rate is 1.75% with a 1.94 APR. Now, second chances don't come often, and you may never see these rates again. So, refinance it and forget it. That's a 15-year fixed at 1.75%. Yes, 1.75% with a 1.94 APR. Call the experts at Network Capital now. Call 800-500-1-HIT. 800-500-1-HIT. As in home run. Call now and save big on your refi. 800-500-1-HIT. 800-500-1448. NMLS ID 11712. Not licensed in all states. Visit NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Licensed by the California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation and the Financing Law. Number 603D787. An equal opportunity lender. Rates subject to change and may not be available at rate law. Discount points may apply. Subject to approval. Call 800-500-1448 for additional cost information.
Looks like there's a crash on the 10.
Eastbound side at Central in Montclair. The crash is stuck in the right lane. Watch for minor delays from Monte Vista. In Lake Forest, northbound side of the 5, just before Lake Forest Drive, there's a stall against the center divider. And a crash on the eastbound side of 91, leaving Anaheim Hills just after the 241. It's along the right shoulder. Minor delays from Yorba Linda Boulevard. KFI in the Sky helps you either faster. I'm Soren Cross.
This report is sponsored by Norm Reed's Honda Superstore. Summer may be almost over, but there's still time to get super prices on a super selection of new Hondas. During the final days of the Honda Summer Sales Event, return your Honda lease to one of their 5 lease return super centers and upgrade today. Online at normreeds.com.
Have you or a loved one tested positive for COVID-19 during the past 5 days? Those 18 and over may be eligible to take part in a clinical trial for a possible COVID-19 treatment. Participants will receive study-related care at no cost. To learn more, call 1-855-221-3671.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
Sunday on the Mo Kelly Show, we'll look forward into the week that awaits us and shed light on what you need to know. We'll laugh at the absurdity of the news and the key players in it. The best conversations with the best guests. And only on the Mo Kelly Show.
Mo Kelly, tonight at 6.
KFI AM 640.
More stimulating talk.
Let's take a phone call here on the Rick Edelman Show off in Dublin. No, not that Dublin, the one in Ohio. Michael's with us on the air. How you doing, Michael?
Ted, I have a quick question.
Sure.
So I have stocks that I invested in 20 years ago or DRIPs, and I want to leave them to my children upon transfer upon death. Is that possible?
Sure, Michael, you can do that. Just go to the registrar for the stocks and tell them you want to change the registration to a TOD. Simple as that.
Thank you.
Yeah, Michael, sometimes the answers are pretty simple, so I'm really glad we were able to handle that for you. Thanks so much for calling. That was Michael in Dublin, Ohio, here on the Rick Edelman Show. We're going to stay on the phones and head over to La Mirada, California. Mark is with us. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing super good, but a little bit better.
Well, I can only hope. Good for you. How can I help you today?
Okay, so most of my assets are in protected accounts. In other words, I don't pay taxes on them at this time. However, if I pull money out of them, I will have to pay taxes on that, and it will hit the top of my tax base. So I'm going to be paying the maximum amount of tax on it. So my question is, am I better off refining the house and getting the money and spreading those payments out over a period of time? Because I'm thinking I'm going to have to add like 25-30% on to whatever I pull just to cover the taxes.
In other words, I'm assuming that you need a certain amount of cash. What are you doing, a home remodeling or buying a car or what?
Adding a bathroom to the house.
Okay, and how much is that going to cost?
I'm looking somewhere between $20,000 and $25,000.
Okay, so your analysis is exactly correct. If you withdraw $25,000 from your IRA, you're going to pay taxes on that IRA, which is going to cost you, let's call it a third, or $8,000 between state and local taxes. And that means you don't have $25,000. You've given $8,000 to the IRS, so you only have $17,000 left. Well, that's not enough to pay for the improvements on the bathroom. So in order to net $25,000, you're going to have to withdraw about $35,000. So you pay the 30% in taxes on that, and that will allow you to net the $25,000 you need. In other words, you would end up spending $35,000 for a $25,000 bathroom renovation. That's a bad deal, as you acknowledged. Therefore, I believe you're absolutely right. refinance your mortgage. Go get a home equity loan or a home equity line of credit, or do a cash out refi in order to come up with the $25,000 to pay for the renovation.
Okay.
The interest rate's very low. You'll be able to amortize it over as much as a 30-year period of time, and it'll prove to be much more cost-effective over the long run. Besides, the purpose of the equity in your house is to help maintain the value of the house. A bathroom renovation theoretically should increase the value of the house. So pulling cash out of the equity of the house to put it back into the equity of the house, that makes perfect sense. That's very different from putting the money into the stock market or, blowing it on a vacation.
Okay. Then the other option, I think I know the answer to this one, would be borrowing against like a 401k.
No, absolutely not. Although you're able to do that, your 401k is like your IRA. It's there for your retirement. As soon as you pull money out of that account to spend it on non-retirement needs, you're hurting your future retirement security. So no, I would encourage you not to borrow against your 401k.
Okay. And then I'm not sure if you're the right person to ask this, but they're going to reassess my house when I add the bathroom. Are they allowed to reassess it at current market value or just the bathroom?
They will assess the entire house. They're not going to assess a room in the house.
And so they would say that, I paid $360, but it's now worth $750, so I'm now going to be paying, plus the bathroom, let's say $800. I'm going to be paying property taxes on the $800,000.
Yeah, but that's not how assessments work. An assessment is not an appraisal. When you are looking to sell your house, the house will get appraised, and the appraiser will walk through the house looking at all of the elements in it. How old is the bathroom? How old is the kitchen? And if it's been recently renovated, they will increase the value of the house accordingly. But the assessor isn't going to do that. The assessor is going to look at the neighborhood. They're going to look at the broad marketplace. They're not going to look at the bathroom on the second floor of your house. So the assessment is not going to be reflective of the improvement.
All right, well, that covers it. Thank you very much.
Mark, I appreciate your phone call very much. Thank you. That was Mark in La Mirada, California, here on The Rick Edelman Show. 888 Plan Rick is the number he dialed. You can too. You can also check us out online at rickedelman.com. Time now for a visit from my wife, Jean Edelman, co-founder here at Edelman Financial Engines, author on her own right of The Other Side of Money, and an expert in macrobiota cooking, a degree in consumer economics. Jean.
Hello, good to be with you this week. It's starting to feel a little cooler, and many of us are now beginning our change of season. So I wanted to talk about season a little bit today. Season and nature, it's all about change. And I feel like if we can connect to nature a bit more than we do, we can adapt to change a little bit better. Because nature is always changing. And as I shared, as we're about to step into this cooler weather, some of us call it late summer, early fall, nature begins to shift. The plants and trees bring all their energy in. And then we start to see the leaves and the flowers begin to change and drop. It's also a time, if you're going to our farmers market, that you're going to start seeing a change in the food that's available. Because it is time to change our food. We want to stop the cold ice cream and the cold iced drinks. And we want to shift to teas, warm tea, warm cider, warm broth, more soups. We are going to eat more root vegetables and beautiful sweet squash. Maybe in the morning we feel like some warm oatmeal with some toasted walnuts. And so as the season changes, our food changes, and we change. The air is cooler, and this is also a time that we want to watch our health. With the cooler air, we want to keep our head and our neck and our lower back nice and warm and covered. If these three spots on our body get drafty and cold, it's likely that we might catch a little something. So we want to beware of staying nice and warm. And so I just want us all to think about the season. And my word of the week is season. So the S is to see. to see nature, to observe it, and to flow with it. The E is to eat differently, shift from cold to warm. The A is to adjust. We adjust our clothes. We wear some more layers. We bring out our sweaters and jackets. Maybe there's some other things we can adjust in our life. S is to simplify. It's a wonderful time. It's cooler. We can breathe a little easier. Movement is more enjoyable. And so maybe going through our closets and drawers and releasing that which doesn't give us joy to share with others. O is to remain open-minded and open-hearted. And N is to nourish. Nourish ourselves with good food, self-care. Nurture ourselves. Take care of ourselves. Be in our environment. Enjoy the changes that are coming. We need to flow. We need to be like the willow tree that just blows in the wind and is flexible and adjustable and just there, enjoying these wonderful, wonderful seasonal changes. And so I wish you all a wonderful, beautiful week. Just be outside, enjoy the cooler weather, have fun adapting and finding your new routines. Have a beautiful week, everyone. Thank you.
That was Gene Edelman here on The Rick Edelman Show. 888-PLAN-RICK, rickedelman.com.
Mood-enhancing, pharmacy-grade, stimulating talk.
KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
It's almost out. I'm Andrew Caravella, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The massive fire burning in Butte, Plumas, and Lassen counties is now 94% surrounded. The fire has burned more than 963,000 acres and is the second largest fire in California history. The wildlife crossing at Liberty Canyon in Agora Hills has a new name. The crossing is now known as the Wallace-Annenberg Wildlife Crossing. The wildlife crossing is on top of 10 lanes of the 101 freeway and is the largest of its kind in the world. Deputies have ramped up their search for a woman who disappeared near Joshua Tree National Park.
30-year-old Lauren Cho is from New Jersey and was last seen June 28th walking away from the home where she had been staying in Yucca Valley. Cho was traveling in California with her friend and former partner after they set out on a cross-country trip in a converted bus. Authorities described Cho as a 5'3" Asian woman with black hair and brown eyes. She was last seen wearing a yellow t-shirt and jean shorts. The Riverside County Sheriff's Department will join the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Morongo Basin Station in the search for Cho. Layla Muhammad, KFI News.
The Metro Gold Line train has resumed service in Monrovia after a bomb threat shut it down. A suspicious package was found yesterday afternoon. The package was checked and determined safe, and then the train service resumed by 6:30 last night. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says the orders he issued are the only thing stopping illegal immigration in his state.
The surge of migrants across the border was stopped only when the Texas Department of Public Safety and the National Guard showed up to provide a steel barrier.
Abbott says the Biden administration has left Texas with no choice, even though immigration is usually handled by the federal level. Abbott said it's his responsibility to protect Texans since the Biden administration is refusing to do its job to protect American citizens. He says the Haitian migrants wouldn't have been in the situation they were in if the administration was upholding immigration laws. Former President Trump has held a rally at the Georgia National Fairgrounds. He talked about the outcome of the 2020 election last night.
I never conceded because I saw what was happening, and I can't do it. I can't do it. Because I have a commitment to you, and I can't do it.
He also talked badly about Georgia's Republican Governor Brian Kemp because Kemp refused to intervene in the election results, which showed President Biden won by almost 11,000 votes. 3 people have died on an Amtrak train in Montana. The train runs from Seattle to Chicago and derailed yesterday in Montana. 147 passengers and 13 crew members were on board the train. Images from the scene show the train on its side. And more than 500 current and former female athletes are urging the U.S. Supreme Court to reject Mississippi's abortion law that would prohibit abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy.
We know, if we had an unplanned pregnancy, this could end our Olympic dreams and athletic careers, and all of us empathize with women who choose abortion for their own reasons.
Gold medal winning Olympic fencer Lee Kiefer says bodily integrity and decisional autonomy to their individual careers and women's sports in general are important. The Supreme Court will hear arguments on the law in December. Right now, let's get to a stall on the 405.
Northbound side at Manchester in Inglewood. It's stuck in the middle lane. That's causing your right to jam up and slow to a crawl as you push to 105. Now, to terrific things in Burbank, a crash just reported northbound 5 at Burbank Boulevard. A single car crashed into the center divider. And in Rancho Cucamonga, 210 westbound just before Dave Creek, there is a crash blocking the carpool lane. Slow ride from the 15. KFI in the sky helps you either faster or store in front.
We'll talk about tomorrow's weather next.
Hey, it's Dean Sharp. Your first step towards your dream kitchen should be a totally free in-showroom consultation with my friends at the Kitchen Store. Experienced kitchen designers, a 7,000 square foot showroom, state-of-the-art computer design, 12-month same as cash financing, pricing that beats the big boxes, all right off the 405 in Culver City. For more than 50 years, the Kitchen Store is the place for kitchen cabinets. Dial 310 Kitchen. That's 310 Kitchen, or find them on the web at 310kitchen.com.
Amco presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions, and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
And AMCO offers payment plan options for almost any credit situation. So it's easier than ever to fix it fast and pay it off slow.
That's AMCO, AA, MCO.
Southland weather from KFI. Tonight the clouds return. Lows will be in the mid-50s to around 60 throughout the Southern California area. Then Monday we'll see highs in the mid to upper 60s at the beaches, mid-70s for Metro LAOC, upper 70s for the valleys, and up to mid-80s if you're in the Inland Empire. Right now Long Beach 72, Canyon Country 80, Tustin 74, and Placentia 76 degrees. We lead local, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. I'm Andrew Carabella.
Welcome back to the Rick Edelman Show. Thanks for hanging around this half hour on KFI AM 640. This week commemorated World Alzheimer's Day. That's an effort that you know Gene and I are very heavily engaged in. Alzheimer's disease is one of the most debilitating and scary illnesses, and it is also one of the most expensive to deal with. Over the past month, there was a lot of hubbub over Biogen and its new Alzheimer's drug. Rather controversial because of questions as to whether or not it really works, how long it works, and most importantly, the cost of the drug, $56,000 a year or more. Now the Department of Veterans Affairs has announced they're not going to pay for the drug. The VA says the drug has too big a risk of causing serious side effects, lacks evidence that it works. This is a big deal because the VA provides medical benefits to 9 million veterans in the United States. It's the largest integrated healthcare system in America. The Veterans Administration has greater leeway than Medicare and Medicaid to deny coverage of medicines. So we're going to have to see if this has an impact on Medicaid and Medicare as well. The VA doctors and scientists identified more than 150,000 veterans with Alzheimer's disease. They say if they applied this drug to all of them, it would cost $4 billion a year, plus screening tests and imaging scans. Without sufficient evidence, it'll do those vets any good at all. Medicare and Medicaid, they haven't said what they're going to do. They're engaged in a 9-month review. At the moment, they're not paying. And so there are few patients using the Biogen drug. Doctors are arguing over whether it works. Health insurers are reluctant to pay for it. It's, as I said, $56,000 a year for the average patient. So when I say that few people are taking the drug, well, how few am I talking about? Well, Epic Systems is an electronic health records provider. It has a database of 116 million patients. According to its records, less than 10 have taken the drug since June. No, not 10 million. 10 out of 116 million patients. Of 74 neurologists surveyed by Piper Sandler, only 2 have prescribed it. So there was a lot of excitement about this drug, but that excitement has worn off as everybody is recognizing, gee, it doesn't seem to work, it seems to have very scary side effects, and golly gee willikers, it'll bankrupt most Americans who attempt to get it. So let me ask you a related question. We are in the midst of Alzheimer's. There are 6 million Americans who have this disease, 55 million worldwide. It costs $1.3 trillion a year on a global basis. And by the end of this decade, the World Health Organization says that we're going to be spending $3 trillion a year to pay for Alzheimer's. The reason that it is so expensive is that Alzheimer's lasts so long, from onset of symptoms until death, is an average of 12 years. During much of this period, the patient is ambulatory. They're physically fine, which enables them to walk around. It enables them to turn on a stove, to drive a car, to handle a firearm. And this is why it is so scary and why Alzheimer's patients require 24/7 care. It's dangerous to themselves and to others to leave them alone. And this is requiring 24/7 care, which is very expensive to provide. And Alzheimer's is so scary because at age 60, it's 1 out of 10 who develop symptoms. It is at age 80, 1 out of 3. At age 90, it's 1 out of 2. There is no diagnostic tool. There is no treatment. There is no cure. There is no vaccine. It's 100% fatal. And when you have this issue, as tragic and horrific as it is for the patient, think about it for the patient's spouse, the caregivers. So we're beginning to raise questions involving the caregivers. Let me ask you this. If one parent has Alzheimer's, is it okay if your other parent dates? You know, we have the till death do us part thing. Mom and dad haven't divorced. Neither is a widow or widower, but let's admit it, the patient is no longer really engaged in the relationship, never will be again. Is it fair for the other spouse to suffer that personal sacrifice as well? As long as they're performing their marital duties of caregiving and support, should they be allowed to maintain social lives? And at the same time, are there scammers out there who might seek romantic relationships with somebody like this as a con? These are the kinds of extraordinarily challenging questions and issues that we have to deal with and acknowledge in this environment. And so fortunately, on World Alzheimer's Day, we had a couple of very good announcements. The Davos Alzheimer's Collaborative is a global partnership. They announced several initiatives to advance Alzheimer's research, prevention, and care. The collaborative is building a database of 1 million people who have the disease worldwide and is giving all of that data to researchers. They're working with a global Alzheimer's platform to reduce the time and cost of clinical trials. They're investing in healthcare systems to improve the clinical care of people with Alzheimer's, with partners already in the U.S., Brazil, Mexico, Scotland, Japan, and Jamaica. And Bill Gates issued a big announcement on Alzheimer's Day. His father, you may know, died of Alzheimer's a year ago. And Bill Gates has partnered with the Alzheimer's Drug Discovery Foundation, you've heard them here on this show, to develop the Diagnostics Accelerator. He has been joined by Jeff Bezos, Mackenzie Scott, the Dolby family, and others. They're developing a blood test, hoping it's available within the next 2 years. An eye test. Glaucoma and macular degeneration doubles your risk for Alzheimer's. Cogstate is working on a test that'll look like a series of mobile games, each one evaluating a different function of your brain. And Altoida is developing an app for your phone that uses augmented reality games to assess your cognitive abilities. There's a lot of effort, a lot of research going on in this space. Gene and I are heavily involved with a number of organizations working on this, Us Against Alzheimer's, ADDF, the Alzheimer's Drug Discovery Foundation, and many other groups, and we are engaging in a lot of work on our own in this area as well. And so you'll be hearing more about this. In the meantime, you need to acknowledge that the #1 healthcare threat in America is Alzheimer's disease. And we need to recognize as well the incredible financial impact that it has on families, not just the medical and emotional impact as well on both patients and their caregivers. I'm Rick Edelman. You're listening to The Truth About Money. Triple H, Plan Rick. Off to Peoria. We got Patrick on the line. How you doing, Patrick?
I'm great.
Patrick, I have to say this, and I need to beg your forgiveness as I do. But look, my radio show is actually playing in Peoria. How many times have people given you that horrible joke?
Lots of times.
Sorry, couldn't resist. What can I do for you, my friend?
So you had a recent caller, and it sounded like an elderly woman, and she had the most extraordinary idea that she should shift her whole portfolio into Bitcoin. Now, you answered her questions, and you kind of educated her and talked her through it, but when she kept coming back to that same point, I was concerned that she had someone in the background trying to influence her in a way that was not in her best interest. And I had hoped you would ask her the open-ended question where she came up with this idea. Was there someone trying to steer her in that direction?
You're absolutely right. That is a very important, valid question to ask, and I did ask her that off air. But let's put it on air with you right here now. It is so common for me to get a call from somebody who says, what do you think about XYZ investment? And you know that this didn't come out of their own idea. They didn't wake up that morning and say, gee, I think I'll put my money into a non-traded REIT. Well, I think I'll put my money into a bonus annuity. Clearly somebody puts these ideas into somebody's head. And that somebody is all too often a sales rep who's trying to make a commission. And we do need to consider the choice. Investing should never be product-based, meaning don't ask me about products, don't talk to me about an investment opportunity. We should be client-based. Let's talk about you. What are your goals and objectives? What's your need for liquidity? What's your income and debt? What are your assets? How much money do you have and how long are you going to need it? What are your goals? Let's talk about you, and then we'll figure out the best way to go about it. The analogy I like to offer is that of going to the doctor. You don't walk up to the doctor and say, hey, doc, I saw this TV ad about a purple pill. You want to give me some? No. You go to the doctor and you say, doc, it hurts when I go like this. Let the doctor do a diagnosis and determine the treatment plan. Let the doctor tell you what the prescription ought to be. That is a more effective way to approach your health care, and it's a better way to approach your wealth management as well. So, Patrick, I'm really glad you raised this issue because I didn't put it on the air when I had that conversation with her. And, yeah, I think you could argue that that was an omission for the air. You're right.
No, but I'm just very glad to hear, because I was concerned for the lady in question, and I'm so glad to hear that happened off air. Thank you so much, Rick.
Patrick, thank you for calling. I really appreciate it. That was Patrick, and yeah, gotta say it, Peoria, Illinois, here on The Rick Edelman Show. 888-PLAN-RICK, rickedelman.com.
I'm Andrew Caravello, live from the KFI 24-hour newsroom. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are now at SoFi Stadium to take on the LA Rams. Kickoff was earlier this afternoon. Both teams are currently undefeated. The Rams are currently winning the game 21-7. And investigation continues after a woman's body had been found near Highway 33, north of Main Street in Ventura. And Michael Jordan's son has been arrested after assaulting hospital staff in Scottsdale, Arizona. We'll take a look at traffic on the 5 freeway next.
The Delta variant is making COVID-19 spread faster and more easily. Variants can be more contagious, aggressive, and deadly. But we know vaccines work. Vaccinated Californians have greater protection against serious illness, hospitalization, and death. We can help stop the spread and end this pandemic. Get vaccinated and wear a mask when it can protect you and others. Find a vaccine near you at myturn.ca.gov. Brought to you by the California Department of Public Health.
Looks like a crash on the 5.
South outside, just before Crown Valley in Laguna Niguel, it's a crash that's stuck in the right lane.